Welcome to Demystifying Divinity with Joanna and Jenny.
Hi, my name is Joanna. I channel messages from Spirit in order to help people remember who they are so they can embody their power.
Hi, I'm Jenny. I use intuitive astrology to help people remember their blueprints and soul contracts. And together, we're demystifying divinity, one conversation at a time.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Demystifying Divinity with Joanna and Jenny, where we help people like you make sense out of this whole spirituality thing. Hi, everyone. So today we have an exciting episode. Hi, Jenny. Today we have something very exciting, something different. The idea came to do a little bit of a forecast for March. So Jenny, being the pro astrologer, is going to give you an astrological understanding what's happening in March, and I'm going to piggyback her with a message that I received from your guidance, from your angels. So each sign will have its own little. So do stay tuned. Let us know how these messages connect with you. So I'm going to give that to Jenny, but before we do that, we have something super exciting. Jenny, show them. This is our little baby that we've been working on. It's a creative project that we've designed, and we are so excited about it. It's basically a spiritually guided coloring mandala journal. And my guides actually said, tell them why this journal is so important. I said, why is it so important? And he says, because it's a tool that helps people connect back to themselves. So even though it's coloring, it's got so many different components to it. The project was so fun. It just came boom out of nowhere. And Jenny did her magic. I did my magic. And we're actually going to be giving those away on the workshop that we have coming up on March 22nd. So if you live somewhere in Vancouver area, well, the workshop is in Port Moody. There is a link down below. So you will receive this as a gift. But for those of you who are of country or are not local, it is available now on Amazon.com and Amazon.ca. So we'll put a link down the bottom if you're interested. Like I said, it's a little baby, and it's a first of many. We already know. So we're really super excited to share that with you, and we can't wait to get your feedback on it. All right, my love.
Those of you that are watching this podcast, you just saw my tremendous Price is Right modeling abilities. It was a dream come true since I was little, watching the Bob Barker come down. So thank you for that opportunity, Joanna. I greatly appreciate that. Yes, I have many more journals available on Amazon. Right now, we're going to talk about astrology, and I'm so excited. Joanna came up with this brilliant idea to give a forecast for each of the 12 signs. What will March bring for each of the 12? And then when I go through I'm not going to give tons of astrological jargon and all that jazz, but I'm going to give you an idea. And for those of you that are into astrology and you know more than your sun sign, so everybody knows their sun sign, right? Everyone knows their zodiac sign, but for others that know their rising sign, or maybe they know of a big transit, like for instance, spoiler alert, Joanna's North Node is in Pisces. So she's going to want to listen to the Pisces forecast too. So it's stuff like that. Once you start learning about astrology, listen for all the different signs, your moon sign, your sun sign, your rising sign, things like really important transits. If this is all like speaking another language to you, no problem. Listen for your sun sign. It will affect you. And then when I'm done my little rant on astrology, Joanna's going to take over and give her guided message. So for me, this is like a thrilling podcast. Do you love this sort of thing? Because if so, we can keep doing this every month. Give us the feedback though, right?
Notice when Jenny's talking about astrology, I'm moving. She's getting like a little girl.
Okay, so
passion coming through, baby.
Yes, I'm going to try and make it quick. I've made notes. But just to say, we're starting out March 2025. This is our first podcast doing something like this, and we're actually doing it for March 2025. Well, let me just say something with a mic drop moment. Eclipse season is coming. So we have to talk about the eclipses for each sign, because eclipses change everything. Eclipses, you could be minding your own damn business in your house, doing absolutely nothing, and something will happen. Okay. So it's not at all to be fear-based. It's exciting. I'm excited. And let me just say there's 2 signs in March that are affected hugely by the astrology. One of them is Aries. I am a hardcore Aries. I'm an Aries sun. I have other Aries placement. Plus, I'm turning 50 in March. Like, it's like, right? So I'm super excited. There's no fear-based coming from any of this, but Aries and Pisces signs, buckle up. Okay.
I'm the Pisces thing
Yes.
in the North Road.
Starting with the best, ending with the best, because we'll
Okay.
start with Aries. Okay. So Aries, buckle up. Okay. Aries, buckle up. We've got Venus retrograde March 1 to April 12th. Venus retrograde, just to give you a hot tip, anyone, don't get the tattoo. Don't do the cosmetic surgery. Don't do those things during Venus retrograde. Okay. And so it's starting on March 1 and it'll be in Aries. Venus is in Aries. Venus retrograde in Aries. Mercury enters Aries on March 3 and it's going to be conjunct Venus on March 11. Just those 2 things alone that I've just said for Aries are just huge and activating for Aries people. We've got Mercury retrograde starting on March 15. Sun enters Aries. Happy birthday to us on March 20. Sun is conjunct Venus on March 23. Sun is conjunct Mercury on March 24. I keep saying conjunct. You know what I mean by conjunct? It's when it's beside it. Whenever the planets are beside each other, they're conjunct. That means new beginning. New beginning. Conjunct is new beginning. There's a new moon solar eclipse on March 29 at 8 degrees of Aries. Okay, and Neptune enters Aries on March 30. That's right. All those things I just said. Some of the other signs, I'm going to be saying, no, there's actually no planet in your sign. Nothing. Bro, I'll just lost my voice trying to tell you what's happening in Aries, okay? It's a lot. And again, I'm Aries. I'm having a huge birthday. I am so excited. My birthday's right at the eclipse, right when Neptune goes into Aries. The full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo on March 14th is going to activate the 6th house for Aries or Aries rising. The new moon solar eclipse in Aries is on March 30th and activates your 1st house in your 1st house. Okay. So, oh my gosh, Aries. Oh my gosh. Okay. Eclipses, the rule of thumb is if it comes in, let it come in. If it goes out, let it go. So there's breakups. Like eclipses always breakups, or you meet the person, you know? If it comes in, let it come in. If that guy dumps you, let him and move along. Something comes in typically at an eclipse, especially when you're getting activated with a lot of Aries energy, as am I. I have a vision for so much goodness, and it's already trickling in. Like we're recording this in February, right? But it's already trickling into my life. There's so much coming into my life from collaborating with Joanna, doing these I mean, there's so much happening for me. And I know Aries brothers and sisters have the same story. So Aries, buckle up. I could dig into each and every single one of those things I just said, but I won't because I only have like a few minutes for each sign. But to say that Aries own March 2025 is correct. Joanna, take over.
Anyway, so a couple of things. Jenny has her own channel.
Nice. Next
That goes
chapter.
on the bottom. What's the name of your channel? So she goes into more details about these things. This is just to give you a quick snapshot. But as you were talking, the word I got for Aries was patient. And I'm like, okay, well, there's a lot happening for Aries, but I feel the need to say that you need to bring your energy from here to calming the mind, especially when it comes to the idea of opportunities. And opportunities are abound. We just don't often see these opportunities because sometimes the way we see things, we don't see other things as opportunities. So what I'm being shown is that there will be a lot of opportunities presented for some people. But in order to make the right choice for you, you have to come from a calmer space in your mind. Otherwise, you might be stepping into something that then you say, oh, what shit did I step into? So that's the message I'm getting very strongly. The other thing I'm getting is the symbol of Ace of Swords, which is a brand new beginning in terms of thinking structures, in terms of the belief systems. Like the 2025 year, we've talked about it forever. From Jenny's perspective and my perspective, 2025 is the year. It is a lot of concentrated energy where a lot is possible and accomplishable, given the right frame of mind and given the right focus and the right energy. So if we're focusing on negative, well, we're just going to be swimming in a pool of negative. We don't want to do that, right? So let me see what the card says. The card says dependability. Okay, so there's a beautiful card here. I actually see it as yin and yang. I see a flow of energy that is both giving and receiving. It does speak to me to partnerships and relationships. So there's a possibility for some of you to enter a very high frequency relationship. Does not have to be romantic. It could be a relationship such as the one that Jenny and I have, collaboration, but it's reward based. What this is also showing me, there's a potential, tremendous potential for a lot of healing, especially your wounding around abandonment and heart chakra. So if you're looking for a new relationship, make sure you get your quote unquote shit together in your mind so that when you enter into relationship, you're not entering.
And the Aries calm down energy.
Does that make sense?
Shadow vibe Aries is very childish. So, knee-jerk reactions, starting a million projects, not finishing, but high vibing Aries. Or now, me. But high vibing Aries is childlike. So tapping into the wisdom of the inner child, slowing down, not having to do, but just be, the I am. It is the I am energy at its finest, Aries energy. So we're having so many activations that yes, we can feel very chaotic, worried. It is very activating.
Very heart open. Potential.
Taurus
to the next.
Just to say, you're listening for Taurus Sun. Absolutely. Sun energy is our soul. It is our life force energy. It is the go out there and do the damn thing energy. Yes, it is. If you are into astrology, you can listen for your rising sign, your moon sign, all the things. If you know that you're being activated like Joanna is with her North Node return, listen for that as well. Okay, so Taurus, Uranus is currently in your sign and it is moving 1 degree throughout March from 23 to 24 degrees. Uranus has been in Taurus since May 25th, 2018. And it's going to finally leave your sign this year on July the 7th. So that's very activating for Tauruses. We'll revisit every month because you're going to be activated in a big way, Taurus. But you've been experiencing Uranus go through your sign for all of these years. So you're feeling it. You're getting used to it. And these are the end lessons. When you get to those end degrees, 23, 24, this is the final lesson from Uranus. Uranus always seeks to liberate us, but it is shocking and surprising. Some most Tauruses since 2018, you've got stories about how things have shifted and changed. And it was shocking and it was so surprising. You got liberated. I'm sure you're a Taurus, Joanna. You've got the stories. The moon will be in your sign on March 3rd. So that's activating new moon energy because the sun and the moon will be together. So that's, again, that conjunction that I was talking about. It's like a new start. And you get that. We all get that every single month when the moon is in our sign. So that's exciting. The eclipses. So the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo on March 14th activates your 5th house of joy, fun, children, romance. And then the new moon solar eclipse in Aries on March 30th activates your 12th house of letting go, letting goddess, forgiving, and all things addictions. So that's the recap for Taurus. How did that feel for you, Joanna, Miss Taurus?
The first part, I almost disconnected because it's about me. I don't want to attach to it because when I receive a message, I don't want it to be attached. But yes, it makes sense to me. So here's what I got for Taurus. Focus on sense of self. And I want to say the word purpose. Why do I want to say the word purpose? They want me to say this. Whether you believe it or not, you are on purpose right now. Just know it. Purpose is not about what you do. Purpose is really about the state of being. So if your quote unquote purpose is to be a healer, let's use that analogy, you have to embody the healer quality, right? So this is about embodying the version that you are becoming. So if you're Taurus or any other sign for that matter, you probably have some version of you would like to experience. That version of you exists in the ethers as a potential. Your job right now over the next 3 to 4 months is to bridge the gap between who you are being right now and who you choose to be as, let's say, a healer. And it's bringing that energy, that vibration into your body and embodying, for example, what it would be like, what is it going to feel like when I feel like
Very grounding. Taurus is
just
very grounded energy, full of self-worth.
It's also a time of emotional clearing and cleanup. So chances are, like Jenny was saying, things are going to come up for you to the surface. Any issues around worthiness or unworthiness, or am I enough? Will I be enough? Will I be seen as adequate? All that kind of stuff, it's likely going to come up to the surface because you are ready. If you're Taurus, you are just about ready to cross a certain threshold that has been keeping you back from potentially being that other version of yourself. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Anger came up. So if you have some kind of anger that has been sitting there and it has not been processed, a good way to release anger is to yell at the pillow, punch the pillow, go to the gym. Breath work is amazing. If you feel like you have a lot of anger and that's going to affect your throat and your ability to speak up fully, you're being advised to take the advantage of this energy because it's very amplified and release whatever anger you feel you have, even if it's anger towards yourself. It's releasing hot energy. It's releasing anger. And focus on who you are becoming. Now, there's a catch-22 with that, because if we just want to focus, I want to be that, I want to be that, I want to be that, then what you're saying is that you're not in acceptance of what is. The best way to embody another version of you is to first embrace and fully accept who you're being right now. And from that space, create changes necessary that will allow you to be the healer, the girlfriend, whatever it is. So opportunity for digging up some stuff from the past, which is always the case, looking at it, particularly when it has to deal with anger, and just processing that information, processing that energy so it's no longer sitting in your body. Because for some of you, your digestive system will be affected, particularly your lower chakra, so your sacral chakra. So if you have any challenges around bloating or things like that around your sacral chakra, it's likely to do with you holding or suppressing energy that hasn't been processed. So some processing of anger. Now, if this doesn't apply to you, then you've been dealing with anger effectively. Anger is a very real, very normal, very suitable emotion. It's just when we hold on to it that it becomes a problem. So any resentments that you're holding on to, any kind of anger towards your mom or dad because they forgive them. Don't give them a pass, but forgive them and move on, because it's no longer required of you to keep learning about worth. Done. You're worthy, baby, as is. Cards. Let's see what the card says. Go the distance. Actually, what I get here is trust yourself. Trust yourself in your abilities, that what you're here to do is you are fully equipped with everything that you need in order to do what you're here to do, whatever that means for you. But at the end of the day, what we're all here to do is simply, we're here to love. How you love, how you hold back love, how you express love, that's up to you. When Jenny talks about astrology, that's how she expresses her love. She just glows. She's childlike in that moment. When I do this, it's like, it's very empowering. So though the distance to me means you've got what it takes, take a chance on yourself. That's a really big one.
The throat chakra, because Taurus rules the throat.
That's a throat thing.
Beautiful. Are we ready for Gemini? It's currently in your sign, Gemini, and it has been since May 25th, 2024, and it will be until June the 9th, 2025. So that's going through Jupiter, the great benefic, Santa Claus energy, bringing all the joy and the gifts. I will say a hot tip. If you are a Gemini and you're like, well, I don't get new Santa Claus gifts, I'm not feeling all the benefic energies yet. Sometimes, and most times, Jupiter gifts after it's out of your sign. After June 9th, you're going to see it start pouring in. That's often the case with Jupiter's gifts. So Sun squares Jupiter in your sign on March the 2nd. That's that get up, do the thing, make the decision, go do the thing. You might be really feeling that. The moon will be in your sign on March 5th and 6th. And again, that's activating that new moon energy for you, Gemini. New beginning. We get this every month. We're used to this, but why not use it? It's a magical manifesting time at the time of a new moon, and you've got that new moon energy on March 5 and 6. And then the eclipses, the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo on March 14 activates your 4th house, the home house property, and mothers, and motherhood, and your mother wounds. And then the new moon solar eclipse in Aries is on March 30th, and it activates your 11th house of friends, groups, internet, greatest good for all, biggest hopes, wishes, and dreams. And I will remind you, Gemini, if it comes in, accept it with an open heart. If it leaves, let it go also with an open heart. Okay, Joanna, take it away.
So I will piggyback you on one of the first comments you made about things coming. The message I wrote is make room or space for something new. Make room or space, which means you have to make room or space. If you're cluttered, you have to release some of the clutter to create room and space for something new. Example. And this is just an example that's coming to me because it's easily understood. Let's say you're in a relationship, but you don't like how this relationship goes. Or you just it's just kind of whatever. And you're hoping to meet somebody else to save you from this relationship. Well, unless you let this relationship
I love that
go,
example.
That eating space
Perfect
for something new. And I suspect it's going to hit some people. This could be whether it's a romantic relationship, whether it's some other form of attachment. Make sure that, first and foremost, know what your desire is. Know why you desire it. I've got bad news for you. No one or nothing can make you really happy. That's your job and your responsibility. Can other people bring you or contribute to your happiness? Yes, but they fundamentally cannot give you, here's $5 worth of happiness. Okay? So if you are this is a relationship feels that if you're in a relationship where it's very stagnant, either choose to do something about it and improve it, or choose to let it go and make room for something better. But first, ask yourself, why, if this is not what I want, why am I choosing to still be there? Chances are it's not really, you're not willing to take the step necessary to go through the discomfort. Because letting something go can and often does feel uncomfortable, but it isn't bad. So that's the thing I got. The other thing I got was learning how to balance the yin and yang. Most humans live predominantly in their heads. Learning how to balance yin and yang does not mean 50-50. It just means a balance, and for everybody, balance is going to feel and be something different. However, one of the best ways to tap into your yin energy, the divine feminine, is to get creative. So something like coloring a mandala while you are meditating, writing something in your journal, taking a paint class, whatever it is that gets your creative juices flowing so that you are more in your feminine. Because in fact, when we are in our feminine, when we are in our divine feminine, we are in our creative space, we are in the flow. When we are in the flow, we feel good. Head, although important, but can be very too structured and too rigid. So there's a need for balance of the yin and yang. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Yes? Again, yin and yang balance does not mean 50-50. It represents different things for different people. But if you feel you are out of balance, then you know you're out of balance. So you have to find a way to bring a little bit more balance into your life. And A lot of the time, it's allowing yourself to do something creative, even if it feels like it's silly. Bring your inner child out of you. Bring that, because your inner child is it's a creative genius. That's when you'll start getting more ideas. So balancing yin and yang, if you want to use our journal for that, by all means. Otherwise, find an artistic or some creative expression.
Yep.
Plant a garden. I don't know. But just get down and dirty and do something creative.
Thank you.
That's what
And
I
now the
have for
card.
Geminis. Oh, what I hear right away is give birth to something new. Give birth to something new, which means first make room and space for something new to come into your life.
Love that.
And then give birth to something new. Good things, Gemini.
And it makes sense because
Good
you
things.
got the fourth house, the motherhood house being activated in that first eclipse. Are we ready for Cancer?
There you go. Gemini, August
Okay.
somehow might be important
Okay.
to you, but that's just to put it on
Cancer.
the
So Cancer people, Mars is currently in your sign, and it has been since January 6th, 2025, and it will be there until April 18th, 2025. Mars will end retrograde in your sign on February 23rd. So depending on when you listen to this podcast. The sun is trining Mars in your sign on March the 8th. So that's a nice energy, helpful, harmonial. And the moon is in your sign and you are ruled by the moon. So it's your moon's coming back to you on March 7 and 8. So that's a powerful time for you to do new moon manifesting, even though it's not a new moon, but it's that new moon energy of planting seeds. So that's a powerful time for you. The eclipses, okay, the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo is on March 14th, and it's activating your third house. That's all things communication, the way you speak, the way you write, internet projects, cousins, sisters, brothers, friends that feel like cousins, sisters, brothers, and short distance travel. And it's also transportation. Third house is a lot of things. I call it the junk drawer astrology, but well, the first eclipse in March is activating the third house. If it's one thing, if the fourth house is one thing, it's communication. And then the new moon solar eclipse in Aries is on March 30th, and it activates your 10th house, Cancers. That's your career. That's the top of your chart. That's your social status. That's your title change from Ms. to Mrs., assistant to CEO. The big activations for you in March, Cancer. And again, I always encourage you at the eclipses, you're not doing manifestation practices, eclipses, like we normally would with the other new moon and full moon phases. What you're doing is you're sitting back and watching what comes in or what goes out and saying, yes.
What you're saying, because what I got was literally like piggybacked into what you're saying. So you said the word communication at one point, and the first thing I got for Cancer was, and the question was, when you're in that space, you ask a fundamental question. What is it that I ultimately want for myself? It's knowing what you want. I know, Joanna, I know what I want. I want money. No. What you want is what comes with the idea of you having money. You want independence. You want to feel secure. You want to feel like you have options. That's what you want. Money just represents that to you. And there's other ways of achieving that other than just with money. That's just an example. Well, Joanna, I want a relationship. Okay, well, everybody wants to be in a relationship. Well, I don't know, because at least then I'm going to feel safe. I don't know about that. I've been in plenty of relationships that I thought were supposed to make me safe, and they made me feel actually quite unsafe because I was coming into it with a fear. So this is really about, this is really about being quiet, tuning into your heart and asking yourself, what is it ultimately that I want for myself? Is this going to support what I want for myself? Yes, it's going to give me money, but is that the only option available to me? Or is there something more? Otherwise, if I do this same thing over and over again, yes, I'll be making happy, but I'm going to be miserable. Right? And at least become consciously aware of that So when you do decide to make a choice that you've chosen before, but you're expecting a different outcome, well, you're not going to expect a different outcome. If you choose to do something that seems logical, but it doesn't really fulfill you, then at least choose it consciously. So it's about choosing consciously by asking the question, what is it ultimately that I want? That's what I got. Oh, the card. Thank you. Wow. Poised. 10,000. You're ready, baby. You're ready to take off. Here's the thing. This is the analogy I'm being given. In order for you to take off, sometimes it's a good idea to know where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, you're going to take off, but what direction are you going to go in? You don't know. When you plan a trip and you start packing and you're ready to go and someone says, where are you going? And you say, I don't know. Well, then we can't go anywhere, can we? It's really important that you have quote unquote destination in your mind where you are going and whatever that is for you. And I'm assuming it's something beautiful, because why would you want things that are not beautiful for yourself? Make sure that whatever it is that you ultimately want for yourself, that you don't have any limiting beliefs attached to it. Example, if your desire is to, again, make a lot of money, but you were born with the idea or brought up with the idea that money is the root of all evil, I'll tell you one thing, you're going to struggle with money. On the other hand, when you release yourself from that programming, then you're ready to take off. Yeah, beautiful. To attract more money.
I love how the messages are coming.
And what I'm getting with her, she has her wings spread, but she's open. Her heart is open. She's ready to receive. So as she's taking off, she's ready to receive, but she's also relying on some guidance that she can't see. She trusts herself. So part of your message is to trust yourself. Trust yourself. No one can tell you what you truly want because they're not inside of you. They can tell you based on their ideas, but that's based on their experience.
Love it.
So that's what I
Leo. Nope. Yes. Are in your sign this month, Leo. You're getting a little break.
Oh,
so the moon is in your sign, March 9, 10, 11. So that's that new moon energy for you to just take those days and new fresh start, plant some new seeds, do some intention work in your moon journal or your own journal at home. Okay, the eclipse is the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo on March the 14th. Activates your second house, Leo. That's your self-worth and the worth, your worthiness. So once you fully know your worth, when the energy exchange of money comes flowing into your bank account because you made the money. So again, that 14th, the eclipse on the 14th activates the second house for you, Leo. The new moon solar eclipse in Aries on March 30th activates your 9th house, Leo. That's the spirituality house. Are you religious? Are you spiritual? It's the teacher house. It's going back to school, getting the master's degree. It's taking the overseas trip. Again, eclipses, I'm going to remind you once again, you're not doing manifestation work at eclipses. You're sitting back, you're watching what leaves, you're making room for what comes in. And sometimes it depends on your own natal birth chart. It's a wow, what happened? Something usually always happens for all the signs, but depending on your own natal birth chart. But I always advise don't be manifesting at the eclipses. How does that feel for Leo, for you, Joanna?
I'm just writing things down. It feels good. I'm just writing what comes true. So interesting because we got the same card that we did for one of the earlier signs. I'll start with the card first. It's dependability. And for me, it's tying to trusting in others to be there for you, to be a support system. Okay. But before that, the word that came for you was responsibility. And since it's heavy, it feels like a very heavy subject. And when I kind of pried into it a little bit more, what is this about responsibility? It's to be clear and to be conscious what is and what is not your responsibility. For example, it's your responsibility to look after, let's say, your elder mother or father, okay? But it's not your responsibility to make them happy. You can't. So it's about really be clear on what is your responsibility and what isn't, because I feel that at least some of you have a tendency to want to fix other people's problems. And can you really fix somebody's problem? Well, you can fix somebody's car, but when somebody comes to you with a problem, you can't fix their problem. You can only educate them on what they got the problem in the first place. Because unless they understand how they got themselves into trouble, they're going to get into trouble again. The whole idea of you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. That's the kind of responsibility I'm talking about. It feels like a very heavy burden for some of you Leos, but the big one is like, you're not here to make other people happy.
They have a lot of pride. Leos have a lot of pride, so they can't take responsibility a lot of the time.
I know Leos who are the opposite. Yeah, and very, very sensitive. Yeah, feelings get very easily hurt.
You started with the card, and that was the same.
That's what I have for Leos. Does that make sense to you?
And so 2 fire signs makes a lot of sense. Okay, you get an honorable mention because at the beginning of this podcast, I said, oh, it's an Aries and it's a Pisces party. But Virgo, you get honorable mention. Okay. Because the South Node is in your sign. So that's from January 11th, 2025 to July 26th of 2026. And the nodes always work in 18-month cycles, okay? And then in 18 years, 18 is the magic number. So 18-month cycles for the nodes. And then in 18 years, you get a nodal return. And Joanna, you're getting a nodal return. You have a North Node in Pisces. And 18 years ago, you also had a nodal return. Okay, so we've got some eclipses for you, Virgo folk. The full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo, your sign, is on March 14th. And so it's going to activate your first house. Okay, Virgos, hold on. The Virgo rising, the Virgo sun sign, Virgo strong people, if you have a Virgo moon. Hold on. It's going to be activating your chart, is what I'm trying to say. And so if it is in your first house, if you are a Virgo rising, be open to anything. First house is like any area of your life. Yes, it does go ahead. So, it's little things like, anxiety and headaches might come up. Please breathe through. The new moon solar eclipse in Aries on March 30th activates your 8th house. So that one's not as activating for the Virgo folks, but the for the next 18 months are in Virgo Pisces. So yes, Virgo and Pisces people, it's hitting you. And so this is going to be the first one for you, Virgo. Take it away, Joanna. What do you think? Because do you want me to tell you just quickly about the South Node as well? South Node is what we are collectively as a people will all be encouraged to get out of shadow vibe Virgo energy. Wherever the South Node is, you would interpret it as the South Node is always like we getting rid of the shadow vibe. So shadow vibe of Virgo. Nitpicky, clean freaky, has to be my way-y, okay? Very, 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 micromanager, okay? So now, I'm not picking on you, Virgo folks. You know I love you because high vibing Virgo is not those things. But the world is being encouraged to let go of those kind of vibes. We're all encouraged to go toward Pisces things, which I'll bring up when I go into the Pisces sign. Okay, so take it away, Joanna, now that I've said all those things.
So what you were talking about basically was, which makes so much sense collectively, because it's all about us releasing a high need to control. And control almost always leads to, in my experience, to one thing, lack of safety, feeling lack of safety. So we try to control our environment because at least we think that when we control our environment, we will feel safe. Well, good, never going to happen. Because you can't control the outside environment, very rarely. What's interesting is that the first number I got for you was 6, which is balance, but what I heard was peace. So you are in a space where you can cultivate a lot more peace, dare I say, by releasing some of the control, which is a mindfuck, excuse my French, right? You'd be thinking that if you release control, you're going to be more stressed. And actually, no, when you are ready to release control, it's because you are coming from a space of inner empowerment. When you are in your own empowerment, when you are in your own embodied light, your need to control goes from here to here. You still can control if you want to, but you just have no need to control nearly as much. And I feel like this is When the pandemic started, my guides told me this is all bringing up shit around control, being controlled, not having control, having too much control, having not enough control. So there's an old wound that's coming up around control. Incidentally, the card is beautiful because the card speaks to healing any child, inner child trauma, any trauma around surrounding inconsistencies with feeling safe in your environment or in your body. So for those of you who resonate with having had some, dare I say, sexual trauma, sexual abuse, or any other abuse for that matter, that would certainly not put you in a space of peace in your mind. You would be living in fear. So this is a really good time to find ways to bring back more of that peace into your life. And when I say bring back, you're not bringing it from the outside, you're bringing it from the inside, where you first have to deal with the layers that are suppressing your ability to feel this peace, because peace comes from within you. It's not something I can give you. So it's a huge time for release. But as I was saying earlier, and you and I have been talking about it, I just recorded the video and they said 2025 is a really concentrated year in terms of energy, and everything gets amplified. So what we choose to do in this lifetime, the more energy we put into it, the more likely whatever it is that we're working on is going to be manifested. So if you are choosing to let go of your need to control because you realize that too much control is not good for anything, including like if you have too much salt or pepper on your steak, it doesn't taste as good. It's not about relinquishing control altogether. We need control, but too much of anything is not balanced, and you are coming back to more balance. And when we feel more in balance, we feel peace. Those things go hand in hand. So there is some.
I love that you said that when you first pulled up that card.
Suggested here.
High vibing Virgo is the healer. Lots of good high vibes. Oh, Virgo people, I am not picking on you. I'm just saying that all of us collectively for the next 18 months are being encouraged to let go of all those controlling things that Joanna went on a rant about. And the other thing about the other shadow vibe there is perfectionism.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
That's a control mechanism too.
This is a hot one that I know Joanna's gonna love. Okay, so Lilith, Black Moon Lilith, is leaving your sign at the end of this month, and it's entering Scorpio on March 27th, my 50th birthday. So this is all like Black Moon Lilith and the dark feminine, okay? Because Black Moon Lilith, this is where you can totally screw up your life. I can see it in your astrology birth chart, right? So for you Libra folks, okay, don't cheat on your husband, okay? Like you might be feeling it really build through March, and it's been going on for years with Lilith going through your sign. This is where you could screw up your life, Libra, okay? Don't go out and do the cheating, okay? It reeks of cheating on your husband situation. Okay? And then once Lilith is a Scorpio on my birthday, oh, witchy, dark feminine vibes that I'm going to get you to talk about. I'm going to let Joanna go on about like if that's happening for Libra and then into Scorpio. But Libra, back to you. Moon is in your sign, March 14 to 16. So again, I keep saying it's like that new moon energy. Those 2 dates for you are powerful. You can use it like new moon, planting new seeds for your life. The full moon, this will hit you, Libra, because it's opposite your sign in Aries. The full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo, or the second one is in Virgo on March 14th, is going to activate your 12th house, Libra. That's the let go, let God ask. Okay. So if you've been wanting to cheat on your husband, let it go. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm picking on the Libras this time, but there's a lot of letting go, letting God ask for you, Libra folks, on the mid-March eclipse. Also, the 12th house is addictions. Watch yourself, Libras, is what I'm trying to tell you. And then the new moon solar eclipse in Aries. So that one's really activating you because Aries is right across the street for you. And that's on March 30th. And that's going to activate your 7th house, which is your relationship house, which is where your spouse is. Well, I am not accusing any Libras of cheating on your husband, but I'm saying don't do it. You could really screw up your life with dark moon Lilith. However, she also has such a powerful vibe. And I know Joanna's going to start talking about that now, but I'm just telling you what to Libra. Go, Joanna. I know you're dying to talk now.
Information. Work. Oh my God. And that it's on your birthday. Yeah. So interestingly, when you were talking, I saw an image of an egg cracking. To me, that's representative of births. And what I wrote is emotional freedom. So it was interesting because you were talking about, making choices that, maybe we might regret at some point. And I feel like this Lilith moon, is that right?
It's just a part of your
Really?
chart. It's not a planet. It's, it's an asteroid. It's a point on your chart, but it's notable. It's notable, and it's happening in March.
I feel like she's here to test us. It's almost like, I'm going to tempt you. Let's see what you do. If you're tempted, you haven't learned a lesson. So there's something about being tested in, have you learned your lesson? Have you learned your lesson? I'll give you an example that's coming through and that's easy to understand. If you are someone who tends to be over pleaser and you're trying to get out of that environment, and then you find yourself in a situation where, here you go again, you're starting this whole thing of over-pleasing again. Watch yourself, because you are in the moment where you can release yourself from old conditioning and start new conditioning as part of the process of you not falling prey to your old ways. She feels dark, but when I feel dark, I don't feel negative dark. She is just like
Lilith. You do a full podcast on Lilith, and we just might.
The message that I'm getting is, okay, you want to cheat? Okay, fine. You're going to cheat, but you're going to pay for it. On the other hand, if you choose to say, no, that's not working for me, she's going to help you in that direction as well. Because she will fully work with you and give you the oomph in whatever situation you choose. It's just your situation is going to be amplified. So likely if you end up cheating, it's going to blow up.
I can predict that for you, Libra. That's Libra man, that's Libra rising. If you gossip about your best friend, it's the same thing. If you start a smear campaign about your best friend, or if you want your husband and you're a strong Libra person,
what I'm getting is the word betrayal. And what it could also mean is betraying somebody's confidence. For example, let's say your friend said to you, I'm going to share this with you, but please don't tell anybody. Like, I promise nobody's going to hear from me.
That's exactly
And then you talk to a friend, guess what she said? That's betrayal. So we're not talking necessarily cheating or going out and getting married with somebody else.
So that means your business partner, your best friend, or your spouse.
Yeah. Or if you're trying to hide something and hope that it's not going to be found out.
And I'm saying it because it's the end of the degree.
I wouldn't do
you're
that.
At the 29-degree mark. And whenever a planet asteroid point is at that 29-degree point, it feels like, I have to do this. It's the end of the lesson.
If you're ever in a predicament and you don't know what to do, I would invite you to connect with the inner wisdom keeper, your inner wise woman or wise man, and ask him or her what's the best way for you to proceed. Because you ultimately have the answer, and you have the highest frequency answer available to you. And I can pretty much tell you that your wiser self is not going to say, yeah, go gossip. I guarantee you that's not what's going to happen, because that's not how it works. But what I'm getting with this is trust yourself. Trust yourself, trust your abilities. It feels like the black Lilith moon, she's ferocious. Oh, she's ferocious. Yeah. She's a Kali to me. It's very transformative, and it can be ruthless, but it's also equally as loving. And so she can be both, depending on
she will
which way
open doors either way.
You just
will
open
up your life wherever.
Out of my head.
So this is a big one. I'm a Scorpio rising, so I always listen for Scorpio, even though I'm a hardcore Aries. If you do love podcasts like this, we would love to keep doing them for you. So again, Lilith, Black Moon Lilith, enters your sign, Scorpio, on March 27th, my birthday. The moon is in your sign from March 17 to 18. So that's a powerful time for you for a fresh new start, planting new seeds, for new intentions. And then the eclipse is Scorpio. Okay, the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo on March 14 activates your 11th house. Okay, Scorpios. So 11th house is friends, groups, greatest good for all, biggest wishes, hopes, and dreams. Also, all things technology, the future, the internet, all that stuff. And then the new moon solar eclipse in Aries on March the 30th activates your 6th house. That is the Virgo house. That is the healer house. That is also a work house. The habits that you do every single day that make all the difference in your life. But it is your health. Like if it's one thing, if the 6th house is one thing, it is your actual physical health, emotional, spiritual health. Okay. So Scorpio, what do you think, Joanna? Take it away.
So the message I got for right away is read a book or read the goddamn book. So if you are, if you bought a book some time ago, but you haven't gotten to reading it, read the book. The other thing is empowerment. And actually, the card that came up was unfinished business, unfinished story, which means you are still holding on to some sort of story that has to do with how you suppress your own fire, your own fire. And it could also be, thank you, it could also be how you suppress your own anger. Suppressing of anything is not a good idea because suppression, whatever is suppressed, comes out in other ways. It's like water. You can't just stop it from flowing. It has to flow out somewhere. So if you are someone who's holding on to some anger and resentment, I can almost guarantee you that it's going to cause some sort of physical ailments in your body in terms of heat, overheating, inflammation in your body. You talked about physical stuff. So that's what I'm getting. Now, because it's a number 10, it is showing it to me as a karmic ending of a cycle. So you have an opportunity to end this cycle of suppressing your own feelings, suppressing your own emotions, suppressing your own creativity, suppressing your own fire. You can finally get out of that cycle if you choose to look at it. Notice everything we're talking about is bringing up stuff to look at, but that's what 2025 is about. So very, very, just very much, I constantly kept seeing you pushing down your fire. I'm like, okay, I know you don't want the fire to be too high, but you also, why are you suppressing it? That makes no sense. And just this constant suppression. So notice if you're not someone who suppresses how you feel. And I also get a lot of here, like upper chest and throat. You might actually have some throat infection. If you happen to hear this and you have some throat infection, try gargling water with salt. I'm not a doctor, do your research, but that's what's coming. It's very specific, so I don't know who it's for. But this is more about just getting in tune and asking yourself, do I have a tendency to suppress myself? Do I suppress my own feelings? If no, then the message was not for you. If yes, the answer is, okay, what are you suppressing? Number one, why are you suppressing it? You suppressing it because you have a reason, and it's a goddamn good reason to you. Chances are when you are suppressing something is because you are afraid that if you express, something quote unquote bad is going to happen. So likely this leads to someone who has been rejected in the past for just being. And I've met many clients who were told at a very young age, don't do that, be quiet, you're too loud. And people do this. That's a major lesson for you, Scorpio. It's how you suppress your own fire.
I'm going to take that advice.
That's what I have. Does that make sense?
Sagittarius. Okay, there's no planets in your sign, so you've got a little bit of a break. Okay. The moon enters your sign March 19 and 21. Use that as that new moon energy. It comes around every month, so we're kind of used to it. It might not feel that energetic, but it's always fun to notice when the moon is in your sign because it is a new beginning energy. Okay, the eclipses. Full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo on March 14th activates your 10th house, Sagittarius. So this is like, hello, this is your career. This is your title. You might lose your job, you might get a new job, and it's how your social status. Also, 10th house, I should say, is your father and father figures. New moon solar eclipse in Aries on March the 30th activates your 5th house. How fun. That's the fun house. That's the romantic, creative, fun children, So nice activation for you. If it comes, great. You might get pregnant. You've been trying forever for fertility, Joanna, what do you think about Sagittarius?
Well, what I heard was, and I'm going to refer to you because I have no clue what it means. I heard Indian energy. How do you say it? Yeah. What is a Saturn energy? Because that's apparently what Sag is under the
So
influence
Saturn's
of, or
currently
it
in
feels
Pisces.
down.
Saturn delays. Saturn slows it down. Saturn gives big lessons, restrictions, very structured.
Okay. When you talk about that, I feel a little bit like I'm walking in mud. If I can't run, I'm just kind of slowed down. But when I looked on the internet, it says Saturnian energy is associated with discipline, hard work, and perseverance. In other words, keep going, keep doing, keep going, keep doing. And sometimes it can feel boring, and sometimes it may feel like you're not making any dents. But this is just part of the process.
And they're having a 10th house activation. So you might get the raise. You might get the title change from assistant to CEO. Saturn does rule that 10th for them.
Yeah, and it signifies consistency, prolonged consistency. The saying, Rome was not built overnight. Well, of course, it took time, right? So if you're trying to build something, focus on the process. Don't try to fixate on the outcome, because the outcome will be the result of your process. Simple as that. The energy is interesting. It says influence. And here's what I want to say. You have the ability to deeply care for other people, but sometimes you're afraid to show what you've got.
Yeah, well, it's activating their 10th, and the 10th.
I don't know how do you hear
people
it.
see you up there. You can't hide anymore. So it's exciting when you have a 10th house activation, especially for shy people, for people that see small. If you're getting a 10th house activation, you have to step out on the stage because everyone's seeing it. So just embrace it.
It's interesting you're saying that, because this message also speaks about having an influential ability or being able to influence others, particularly with respect to emotional freedom and the heart. So you talked about, presence, and anyway, it makes sense to me now as I'm saying it. So you are likely who is someone influential. Now, here's what I want to say. It does not mean that you have to be on YouTube and have a million views. No, it just means that your particular frequency and energy works in such a way that when you use it wisely and consciously, it has a meaningful impact on another. In other words, energetically speaking, you can help create a difference, and you don't know how powerful it is. So whoever I'm talking to, you don't yet know how powerful it is, but you have the ability to influence other people. Now, here's the catch with that. If you do it for the wrong reasons, you're going to create karma. For example, if you know how the mind works and you help people know their minds so that they can feel empowered, more power to you. On the other hand, when you know how the mind works and you use people's mind to control them, not so good. Does that make sense? So whoever you are, you're an influential person, whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not, it's in your energy. Notice when people are around you, they will often say, oh my goodness, it just feels nice being around you. Just notice it's your vibe. It's your vibe. Own it, baby. That's what we're sad.
Beautiful.
All the different moon phases.
Capricorn, the goats. No planets in your sign count. Right. And I know you're loving that after all of those activations you've recently had. Nice to breathe again, Capricorn. I'm sure you're feeling that. The moon enters your sign March 22 and 23. That's a great time for you just to sit with some intentions, plant some new seeds. The eclipses, let's talk about them. The full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo on March 14th activates your 9th house. So that's all things spiritual, religious, that's teaching, that's learning, going back to school to get your master's degree. That's taking an overseas trip and maybe coordinating with a foreigner or something in a foreign country. It's also publishing the 9th house. I forgot to say that on the last one in the Cancer reading because it's on the Cancer Capricorn axis, but it's also publishing. So just wonder if you wanted to publish a book or publish a video somewhere. And then the new moon solar eclipse is on March 30th, activates your 4th house. That's all things household property, real estate, as well as your mother and motherhood and mother's lineage. So what's for you, Capricorn? What do you feel for the caps, Joanna?
Several things. So one specific message is if you are a coffee drinker, particularly if you drink black coffee, I feel like you're going, my tastes are changing. So you might switch from drinking coffee or how you take your coffee or just, I feel like your taste buds are changing. So the coffee, thank you. The coffee is just a representation of what could happen, but it could be food. It could be things that you used to really like. You're like, yeah, I don't know if that does it for me anymore. There's a change of frequency, and that's because you're in an energy of expansion. You're in a 3 in March, incidentally. You're in an energy of expansion, which means there is a lot more open and available to you, and you are becoming much more open to receive, to give, but also to receive. So this is very much about receiving. Interesting, because I also saw you letting people in, the right people, letting in the right people to your circle, to your energy, to your head. People live in your head rent-free. And being mindful,
Because Pluto just
that's how I
exited their sign.
So, okay. This could mean having clearer boundaries. It could mean saying no to people that you just recognize drain your energy. Now, if it happens to be a family member, you can't divorce a family member, but you can find ways, different ways of interacting with such family member. It's becoming very clear who and what takes away from you, but doesn't give back. Because it has to be reciprocal. Otherwise, one or the other gets drained. It's just not workable. Right? So you're learning how to give and receive energy differently. You might have a bit of a problem with receiving because you're used to giving. So this is not so much putting stop to giving. It's putting stop to giving for the wrong reasons. So if you want to give to somebody because, okay, if I give, then then I make sure that they're going to stay around because you're actually afraid of being abandoned. Well, then you're giving based on your fear. You don't want to do that because you're perpetuating the fear-based cycle. The message is beautiful, deep knowing. Inside of yourself, you already know what the answer is or what the deeper truth is. You have this knowing within you. Everyone does. But if it's too much in the chatter box, you're not going to be able to get there. So I feel like you have a decision to make. And I feel like it has to do with letting go of some people or some situations that you're deciding, this is no longer working for me. Now, how do I go about releasing that? Because there's this, okay, I have a recognition, but it's like, oh, now I actually have to do the deed. Whatever that is for you, whether it's ending a relationship, ending a friendship, letting something go, you releasing that is going to set you on a brand new path. There's a lesson, there's a huge lesson here that's being learned.
Yes, and you brought up the word boundary, and that is
so,
a Capricorn word. It is Capricorn rules boundaries. And it's funny enough, sometimes Capricorns aren't great at boundaries, even though they rule them, right? I think that's bang on for Capricorn. I have all the respect for Capricorns because Pluto's just gone through your sign. And for those of you that survived it, you did it. Now that Pluto's out of your sign, thank heavens. It's time to implement all those lessons of boundary work and all the other things that Pluto taught you.
Yeah. And when we talk boundary, we always say not walls, boundaries. Wall divides. Boundary says, I'm doing this out of respect for me. And when I do things out of respect for him, I expect others to respect me. And if they don't, we have to do something about it. Yeah. And that could be hard for the pleaser king.
Aquarius. Well, okay. Capricorn just got rid of Pluto. But Aquarius, you just invited Pluto into your house. Pluto came in once and for all. It was dipping in and out between Capricorn and Aquarius for a while, but now it came in November 19, 2024, and it's more to stay until March 3. Okay. So Aquarius, you've invited in Pluto. The sun sextiles Pluto on March 23rd, so that's a good energy. March 23rd, mark that on your calendar of happy, harmonious energies for you. The moon enters your sign March 24, 25. That's that eating of intentions, planting those seeds and maybe making a fresh new start. Full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo on March 14 activates your 8th house, Aquarius. 8th house. Okay. That's the transformation house. That's the phoenix rising from the ashes house. That's the butterfly house, because you couldn't even go back to being the caterpillar, even if you wanted to. So yes, death, rebirth. Also chunky money. So inheritance, taxes. Okay. It's that, but it's also real sex. So maybe a fresh new beginning in your sex life. I know you'd be open to it, Aquarius. And I will remind you what eclipses do. You sit back, you eat your popcorn, you don't worry, you don't do intention setting at eclipses. What you do is you watch what leaves and you say thank you, and you watch what comes in and you say thank you. The new moon solar eclipse in Aries on March 30th is activating your 3rd house. Oh my gosh. Okay. So 3rd house, that is all things communication.
What's a 3rd house?
Right? So yeah, that is the way you speak, talk, write, definitely. And it is also the drunk drawer of astrology. So it's your cousins, your siblings, your friends that feel like siblings. It's your transportation, car, scooter, bike. It's also short distance travels. But if it were one thing, if the 3rd house is one thing, it is how you communicate, writing, speaking, talking. Love you, Aquarius. Okay, go ahead, Joanna.
What I have is actually the vision I got right away was having more fun and laughing. So if you have been feeling a little bit low, I want to say either expect more fun things coming into your life or be open to more fun, more laughter in your life. So here's the thing. If you are someone who's like, I've got nothing to be happy about, then create something that will make you happy. If you don't, then this is going to sound really harsh, but I'm going to say it. If you don't, then that's on you, right? Decide to be happy. Does that mean that when you decide to be happy, all your problems are going to go away? No, you're just deciding to be happier version of you while you are dealing with all these situations. And I'm not minimizing people's stuff. Like, people have shit to deal with. So just to say, oh, be happy, that's actually sometimes like a slap in the face. But they're saying make more room for happiness and more laughter and having more fun. So maybe introducing something into your life that will give you a little bit more happiness. Maybe you wanted to take a dancing class that you wanted to do it forever, or like a course on astrology or mediumship, or I don't know, take a painting class, anything again that will allow the divine feminine, the creative expression to come through you. It's really, really important. If I was to say that there's one big message that you're getting, Aquarius, for the next little while, it's being your own doctor, being your own prescription, creating situations and scenarios in your life that will ultimately allow you to experience and express more happiness. The other message I'm getting very, very clearly, be proud of yourself. Be proud of yourself. Not this look at me. No, that's a false pride. To be proud of yourself is to own you, know that you have your shit to deal with. But when you look back at your life, you've done some pretty good things. And sometimes you're like, how the hell did I even survive that? Well, you did, because you've got the strength. Without those experiences, you would never know how fucking strong you are. Excuse my French. Be proud of that. Huge. I love this card. It's called specialization. This is what I got right away is I feel, if this resonates with you, you brought with you a host of things inside of you that have the quality of a healer. Okay? How you express it, that's up to you, but you generally will be drawn to certain thing or things. And I feel like that's being amplified right now. Does that mean that you have to quit a job to do a healing thing? No, I wouldn't advise you to do that unless it made sense to you. But I will say that engaging in expressing these gifts, I guarantee you is going to bring more happiness and smile into your face. I just know it because it's a part of you. So it's no longer hiding from the gifts that you brought for whatever reason. And again, that goes with being proud of yourself. When you're proud of yourself, you feel confident, you know that you mattered. Could you use some tuna? Yeah, everybody could, but it doesn't make, you're not different than anybody else. Everybody comes with their bag of problems. But this is really talking about owning your own healing abilities. And we all have them. Every single human is designed to heal, right? But I feel this is more like an expression. For some of you, it can be an artistic expression. So healing through art, healing through music. I see some of you playing an instrument, and maybe you wanted to play an instrument for a long time, or maybe you played when you were young, but then you're like, oh, I'm too busy, blah, 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 blah. Give yourself permission to be childlike again, and I guarantee you it's going to bring a smile to your face. So maybe that's one simple way to bring more happiness into your life. Engage in something that makes you feel like a child. Sometimes it's difficult looking at the world, all this shit coming up, but we don't even focus on that exclusively and feel according to what we're seeing, or we can know this is what's happening, but also create something in addition to what we are experiencing in the world.
You got it, Aquarius. Ask your Capricorn friends. You can do this. Pisces. Last but certainly not least, because it is a Pisces part. Okay. Let's just discuss this first point. This first point is going to blow your mind. Mercury and Neptune and the North Node are all together in conjunct on March 2. On March 2nd, at 28 degrees Pisces. Again, Mercury, Neptune, and North Node. If it were just North Node and Neptune, that's like miraculous energy in its highest form. It is miracles in its highest expression. In its shadow vibe, just Neptune and North Node together is extreme brain fog. But we've got Mercury in this. Let's go for high vibe, okay? We're talking Mercury is the way you think, the way you communicate. It's the downloads you receive into your mind. I mean, Joanna, please, I'm begging you on March the 2nd, take some time to download. And I know you will, because you are a North Node Pisces lady. And it is going to be expect the miracles on March 2nd for you Pisces people. Oh my gosh. Well, sorry, I could go on and on about this particular conjunction here with the 3 on March 2nd, but I will continue with what I'm saying here. Sun will be conjunct Saturn on March 12th. So you might really like that one, Joanna, because you've really brought so much light to Saturn, and that's what the sun is going to do to Saturn. The sun and Saturn coming together on March 12th in Pisces. Sun is going to be conjunct North Node. So the sun, our soul, our brightest light ever, is going to be with the North Node. The North Node, I will remind you, is a destiny point. It is our destiny. It is our fate. And that's going to be on March 17th. The sun, our soul, our destiny point for It's like, what? It's like, Okay, miracles for Pisces people, okay? Sun conjunct Neptune on March 19. Sun is together with Neptune. Neptune is the highest vibing spiritual mind, okay? And the sun is our brightest soul. Yes, the miracles that might and can and will occur regarding Pisces people, Pisces energy is off the charts in March. So I'm begging all of you to listen to this and to even consider, yeah, this could be me. And if you don't even have any planets in Pisces, you have Pisces somewhere in your natal birth chart, expect miracles in that house placement. Venus is conjunct Neptune on March 27, my birthday again. Venus is money, Venus is love, Venus is beauty, and Neptune is that high vibe. And I've got so many great things happening on my birthday, and so do you. Everybody does, wherever Pisces is for you. Mercury is conjunct Neptune on March 30th. Neptune enters Aries, entering in a whole new era because Neptune moves so slow. These outer planets move so slow. And 4 out of 5 of the outer planets are changing signs this year, which in and of itself is miraculous because it's never happened. If there is a time in history that that's happened, please do let me know. I cannot find that time in history. And then there's the eclipses for Pisces people. Full moon, lunar eclipse in Virgo. That's definitely activating you because Pisces and Virgo are on the same axis. And so that will be activating your 7th house of relationships. Anything. And if something goes out, let go, let goddess, right? And then the new moon solar eclipse in Aries on March 30th activates the 2nd house. And so 2nd house is your self-worth, stepping into a whole new worthiness, as well as accepting all of the money that you are making into your bank account, because the 2nd house is the money you've earned and it's in your bank account. So if we were to end on a huge note, we're doing it. With Pisces energy, big miracles are coming. I'm full body bumped. I have my Mars, which is my planetary ruler, in Pisces, and it's the way I talk and it's the way I write, and that's in Pisces. And so when Mercury is in Pisces, you get so many brain farts in your life when you have your Mercury in Pisces because you think in symbols. You can read an astrology birth chart, but you can't math. But you can see symbols is flying. You can color books and it tells a story. You can read an astrology birth chart like it's a story, right? That's the way my Mercury is. So it's in Pisces. So I'm getting activated. Couldn't even remember if it was so that you get a lot of brain fog with Pisces when you have Pisces energy. But let's all go to the high vibing Pisces energy in March, because there are miracles waiting for us. Okay, I know I've talked a lot, and I'm sure you're just like dying to say something, Joanna. So please do share with us. What are your guides saying about Pisces?
So what I got first and foremost was focusing on heart. Love, 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 love. The question came up, is it safe for me to come out? Is it safe for, so about Pisces, North Node. Is it make sense to me? Is it safe for me to come out? So if you're Pisces, you probably have some sort of a belief that goes along the lines of, is it safe for me to come out? Oh, you're coming out, baby. You're coming out. And it's an energy of 3, which is expansion, which is opening yourself up to a lot more that the universe has to offer to you. But first thing is first, and you touched on this. No more fear-based and luck-based thinking. No more thinking, oh, I'm not enough, I won't be enough, there is not enough. The universe is plenty of everything, including luck, not enoughness. So if you focus on not enough, you will be swimming in that pool. You're here to be seen, whatever that means to you. It could mean being seen by a whole bunch of people, or it could mean being seen in a relationship where you actually allow yourself vulnerability to be seen. And that at first is very scary to a lot of people. But when you actually allow yourself to be vulnerable, that is actually a power, that strength. because everyone has vulnerabilities, every single human. But when you allow yourself to come out and just share in whatever, whether you're sharing feelings with someone in your relationship or whether you're sharing your truth or your authenticity, yes, there might be people who may not like what you've got to say, but that's on them. It's not on you. Your job is just to be true and authentic to yourself. That's your power. That's your superpowers, Pisces. It's your authenticity and your desire to help and heal. That is your superpower. And whatever that means to you, it's safe for you to come out, and you're coming out, baby. So that's what I have. No more luck-based conditioning. So if you have any kind of luck-based conditioning and a scarcity, which most people do, it would be a good time to give you a bit of a tune-up, a tweak in that conditioning, because you don't want to move with this fear-based conditioning into this higher frequency, because again, everything is amplified. So you'll just get more of lack, except more and more often. We don't want that. Okay. Now, I'm not talking about you having thoughts, oh my God, what if I don't have enough money? I mean, we have those, that's okay. But if your inner permanency says, there is not enough for me, then that's your truth, your deep truth. Your deep truth always comes out in the wash. It always comes out in an experience. These will be predominantly your shadow fears.
Yes.
Because we both, Jen and I, just fucking love shadows.
And
That's
for
interesting
you,
for me to
Joanna,
feel,
you
because
have a
of, like,
node. The nodes are your destiny points in your birth chart. Just listen about the North Node. Just follow the North Node where it is in the sky. So where it is in the sky right now is where Joanna was born, in Pisces. The North Node is in Pisces. All of us right now are encouraged to be high vibing Pisces people. So what does that mean? It means forgiving. It means let go, let goddess. Yes, forgive even them. Yeah, even that guy. And let it go. We're talking get rid of the victim stories is what I'm talking about here. That we can live in those stories and then they define us. And the universe is encouraging all of us right now to let go of our victim stories. They are no longer serving us. Yes, even those stories that you feel that it made you. You feel that it brought you to the next level. Let it go. But that's how much the North Node of Pisces is encouraging us to get to our next level. And that's how we're going to get to our glow up, is to open up the door to the new thing, because we've got to let go of that past. It's over. It's over. So that's my vibe in Pisces. That's where we're all being encouraged to go. We're all being encouraged to let go of low vibing Virgo, perfectionism, controlling, nitpicky, has to be my way, micromanaging. So we're all feeling those vibes. And Joanna's having her normal return. I think it's a brilliant time to be doing videos like this and sharing this kind of knowledge. So if you loved this kind of a podcast, let us know we can do this more.
I love that. I'm in my element when I do this. Let us know how this connects with you. Let us know if you have any comments about what you'd like to talk about, because we're going to have a few guests as well lined up. So we're just seeing how this all goes, but that's our creative idea, and we both feel very excited about it. And the journal. So again, if you're in Vancouver area, Vancouver, Canada, March 22nd, and that link is included, and also the links to our journal if you feel called to it.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And please share this fab convo with someone who you love.